How you doing, my man?
Good, you?
Good.
Chuck, when you turn on the film of CMU, what stands out to you the most?
Well, I've been fortunate, or I should say unfortunate, because we lost to him last year, to have played Central last year. Coach Haynes played him, Coach Treadwell played him, so we have some guys on staff here that have experience against Central Michigan, and I just remember from the game, number 5, we were preparing for him. He was a lot better in person, and so I'm telling the players than in film. Film, he's really good, but he was really good when we ended up in the game. And they got 2 quarterbacks, and which quarterback's going to play, so they got us guessing a little bit. But they played Kentucky. It was 28-20 going into the 4th quarter. Kentucky went down and beat Mississippi State, who was ranked number 14, 28-7. So we've been hitting our guys that this is going to be a game. It's going to be a tough game.
Talk about Kenny and the progress he's made this year. I know you weren't here last year, but just what you've seen from him, even from the spring to now.
Yeah, when I first got here, Kenny just had some footwork issues that we had to work out. I know he's mentioned it to you guys before, and some pass rush technique stuff. And whatever you tell Kenny, he's going to do it. He's going to work on it, and he's going to get it done. So we gave him some new footwork stuff and some new pass rush techniques, and then he took it to heart, and he works on it daily. I mean, he's one of the hardest working players I've ever been around.
Was that some of that footwork at work on?
It's your stepping where you're supposed to see your first step.
The first step.
Yeah, it's the first step.
He did like an inside move where he did a little like side step.
Yeah, it's just the first step. That's always the linebacker, as a D-line, as a DB. Same thing on offense. It's always your first step. Can get you in trouble if you're not right with it.
Looks like he has some really quick upper body movement too.
He is very flexible. He can bend his hips. He has really good hips, and really is flexible. He gets in some positions, I'm like, oh my God, he just tore his knee out, but he doesn't. He's very flexible. That's one of the things when I first think of Kenny is how flexible he is.
How much is that pressure up the middle helping you guys get that push?
Oh, we got some big boys inside now. That always helps the defensive ends because they can't come out and double you. So we all work together. Then they got to go out and try to block Kenny, and now that gives them a little bit more one-on-one. So they play off each other.
Opposite Kenny, with Jacob being a little banged up, what have you seen from Drew and Jack getting their first starts in back-to-back weeks?
Well, Jack is an athlete that came in here as a tight end. He's learning the position, but he's got all the intangibles. I mean, you've seen he's tall, long, he's got everything. And he's working. He's a work in progress, but yeah, we know that. We expect that because he's not a defensive end right now. He was a tight end athlete now. He's missed spring ball. That killed him when he hurt his foot. But so he's really in the first stages of learning, but he's got a lot of potential. Drew he's a hard worker, does everything right. I mean, he's never wrong on assignments, never wrong, works hard, does everything right. The whole group as a whole, and my DN group, is just a bunch of hard workers. It's so easy to coach them. They all just work hard. They're all capable. We just got to figure out which situations to put them in as we go through the season.
And Jacob being hurt against Utah State and obviously didn't play Arizona State, is it kind of just slowly working him in based on the injury and getting him?
Yeah, and you always got to check with the trainers. How many plays can he play? So that's the thing right now, because you don't want to bring him back too early and it hurts his shoulder, and then he's out for a couple more games. So that's all just talking to the trainers and figuring out how many snaps we can give him.
So he's on like a snap count for this week again, do you think? Or
everybody's on a snap. Every time somebody comes off the field, I have a guy that's charting it, and I say, how many snaps is this guy? How many snaps is this guy? How many snaps is this guy? How many snaps? And then I try to figure out, okay, let's get this guy. Because you would like by the end of the season not to have as many snaps on your guys at the end. That's when you're making that push. The less snaps they have, the fresher they're going to be during the game, and the fresher they're going to be at the end of the season. Because as defensive linemen, you're getting hit every play. You can't play the whole game. Kenny played a lot of plays last game, but he was just on fire. He was rolling. He was hitting the quarterback all the time, so we went with it. But everybody's got a kind of certain rep count we got in our minds. Now, as the game goes and what kind of game it is, and did they change up? Now we'll make changes as we go.
Is that going to be hard to manage because it seems like there's not a lot of defensive ends available behind? Maybe
no, I got enough defensive ends.
So?
Yeah, I got enough defensive ends because in the pass rush area, then Randall comes in and takes some reps off some guys. So then it's just Kenny out there or Jack out there. So we got enough. We got enough.
Chuck,
how soon do you think that Dylan can come back? I mean, that's obviously.
He practiced this week. It's going to be a game time decision. I mean, he's practicing, and we just got to, just won yesterday. See how he does today. See how he feels. It's going to be that'll be just a progression.
So that was his first practice back yesterday.
Yep.
Just
Yep.
And Justice Alexander, do we know anything about him? Or
He was sick yesterday.
Okay.
He has flu, so I think he's not going to be at practice today too. So if you don't practice on Wednesday, that's highly unlikely. But we'll see. Maybe he has a miraculous recovery today. His chicken soup and his orange juice.
Talking to some of the guys about Camper, one of the things they said that's really stood out to him is new in the way he takes your coaching, that he just seems to want more and more. Is that fun when you get some guy that has the physicals but maybe doesn't know the game, that he'll take everything you can give him?
Yes. I mean, there's a definite, all across the board in my room, like I mentioned, they're all in. And anything I say, anything I ask, they always do it. And Jack is that blank slate. The other guys at least have played, he's a blank slate. So you got to teach him from me. You got to say, okay, guys, you guys, I'm talking to you guys right now. Jack, I'm not talking to you right now because you're not at that level. Because you can give Kenny 1,000 information, he's going to process it, which might confuse Jack. So I always got to tell him, okay, Kenny, you can listen to this. Jack, don't listen to what I'm saying right now because I don't want you to get confused.
That
Got to know your audience.
The run defense being number one in the country right now, I mean, that's something that was a priority in the off season. I mean, how do you, I guess, keep them focused on keeping that?
Well, that's just, hopefully that's who we are, by technique. That's all it is technique, keeping your shoulders square. If you're watching the TV and it's the background view of the defense, you should see all their numbers. If it's a run, that's who we are, and that's coaching them technique. So nothing should change that way.
Are you guys feeling like, and I know that there's been those short little passes that other teams have used a lot, and that's kind of who they are, but are you feeling like they back away from the run because you guys are stuffing them early?
I don't know. You'd have to ask them that. I don't know. They don't seem to be running, but sometimes you're going to probably get in the season down the road, and there is going to be somebody that's just trying to run on you. I mean, that's the offensive coaches. That's their decision. The opponent's coaches. We just play what we see. Play fundamentally sound.
You talked about ball disruption a lot in August. How have you seen that sort of play out through the first 3 games?
It's been really good. It's picked up a little bit last week. Like when I first got here, I told them that it doesn't happen overnight. It's a brainwashing process. I call it brainwashing every last. But it's a brainwashing process where you're thinking about the ball all the time. And I've been doing it for 12 years, and it doesn't happen the first game because they go right back to what they've done some of these guys have been playing, 12 years? They go right back, they see a quarterback, they just want to sack them. You got to be able to brainwash them where they're thinking about where's the ball at as they get there. So they're picking it up. It's a progression, but this is the progression every school I've ever been at in 12 years that it takes time. It takes time.
And similar spread teams that want to get it out quick, that obviously makes it harder, I would imagine.
Yeah, no, but then part of it is getting your hand up, knocking the ball down, which we had a couple last week with, Nene actually tipped that interception, and Ray batted a couple balls down last game. So they're getting it. They're getting it. It'll keep getting better.
How about Brandon? I mean, it seems like he's progressed as a pass rusher while still working on that linebacker spot. I mean, that's got to be a juggling.
Yeah, he's a natural athlete, and he really played well last game. He's got, we teach him a couple moves. We don't give him thousands because he's not down with DM. We just give him a couple moves, and he's athletic. I mean, he can bend. He's some pitchers you see him. I mean, he's like horizontal to the ground, but he's just one of those natural athletes that can bend.
What do you like about the way you guys are able to attack with your third down? You've had a lot of 2 down. I think it's Kenny and Raekwon a lot of the times, 4, 5, 6 linebackers in there. Just a really different look, obviously, on 3rd and long and whatnot. What do you guys like about how the defense is able to attack with looks like that?
The third down passes,
yeah.
That's the same defense they've been running here forever. It's Kenny, and it's Ray, and then it's Brandon Randall. Call him a linebacker, but really on that down, he's a defensive end. So it's the same. So it's not like it's something new for these teams coming in. It's the same calls. It's the same defenses.
Okay. I was just wondering how you thought it was performed this year.
Oh yeah, always. It's good. That's what I ran when I was at Syracuse. I ran the same system.
Gotcha.
Do you foresee a 4-man rotation at the end at some point when everybody gets healthy, or is 3 enough? Or
Like I said, I do a rep count every time they come off the field. I say how many reps, and then I have to see what the game is. If the game is a passing game or the game is a read zone game, whatever the game is, and then I know what the DNs can do. Now this might not be your game. Mm-hmm. And it's always Kenny's game, but the other players, this is your game. This is a game where they're running the ball, and whoever it is, I feel that can hold up against that run. So the rotation will move throughout the season on what we're getting attacked and what's the offense doing. by their ability.
Thanks, Chuck.
Thank you.